Hello guys, today let's talk about preemption. Okay, we're still with fair scheduler right now. So let's keep going. There's three more things we need to know about fair scheduler. It's all about fairness. Okay, fair scheduler, the goal is to try to be fair for all users. The general goal, okay, fair to all users in terms of distributing resources among them. So, what is a preemption? The concept is, first of all, we need to know what is preemption, and then several important facts about this preemption. So, what it is, preemption. So let's look at the figure right here. Okay, this is the general behavior of fair scheduler. So let's see, at the beginning, you only have a job one, and when job one comes in, take 100% of resources. So when job two was submitted, at this time, the resource manager need to slowly collecting the containers that has been using with job one, like slowly get one container, get two containers slowly until get half of the containers and give to job two to run. Okay. Now, when job one has been running for a long time and use all those resource and containers, and when job two submitted, job two need to wait. There's a time and the fair scheduler needed to collect back the resources and give to job two. And a lot of people think it's not fair because job two, there should be some reserved resources for Q2. Okay. So preemption is that this is a mechanism that even though the fair scheduler use any job can use all the resources, but when the job one is using too much of the fair share, in which is going to interfere the QB behavior, or if you interfere the time that the QB need to get enough resources to his own job, then it's not fair, according to the fair scheduler. So the scheduler are gonna do something about it. The preemption is that even though there's only job ones running and using all resources, even though there's no job has been submitted to QB, and the scheduler still want to be fair to QB and then try to pre-collect some containers and give to QB in case some jobs submitted to QB. This kind of behavior is called preemption. Preempt the containers and try to be, because it should be fair to QB. Okay, this is called preemption. And several important effects. Preemption reduces overall cluster efficiency. That means when you try to preempt the containers, there's an overhead cost. Okay, it's not the best way to use resources. But the benefits is that if you're using this mechanism, you have a better chance to be fair to all queues. And there's settings, okay? There's settings. These are the settings items are not required for this class, but again, like I said before, what you need to know is that administrator of Hadoop cluster can set this option, okay? And there's a minimum share preemption timeout and fair share preemption timeout. There's two settings. One is a minimum timeout, the other is a fair timeout. So preemption, the scheduler need to decide how long that I need to wait until I start to preempt the containers from running applications. Make it more specific. When job one is running using all resources, when does the scheduler start to preempt the containers from job 1 and give to QB, even though job 2 was not submitted, even though there's only one job running? When should the preemption start? Okay, so these are settings. There's two settings. Basically, one's a minimum timeout, the other is a fair timeout. Okay, minimum timeout is that for each queue, there are two settings. Okay, the job queue need to have a minimum resources, and the second is the fair amount of resources. Okay, you can think this way. I'm a middle size kind of person. To be fair to me, I should eat 2 slices of pizza. Okay, that's a fair amount of resources. But even though I cannot have the fair amount, I have a minimum amount. I need at least 1 slice pizza for a good lunch. Okay, so there's a minimum amount and a fair amount. For a queue, same thing. A job queue should have a minimum amount of resources and fair amount of resources. So you can, in this setting, if you set minimum share preemption timeout, you're talking about if a queue has not got its minimum amount of resources for a specific period of time, then the preemption starts. Second setting, if the job queue hasn't got the fair amount of resources for a specific long period of time, then the preemption starts. Here it says half is the fair resources. Okay, this is a special type. But what I require you to know is that what's the difference between these two types, okay? So let's stop here.